Coming up on AEA Amplified, Employment Coordinator Patrick McManus shares how NextOp is placing military veterans in the avionics workforce.
From the Aircraft Electronics Association, this is AEA Amplified, a podcast for aviation's technology experts, with your host, Jeff Hill.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of AEA Amplified, sponsored by Genesis Aerosystems, a Moog company, and a leading provider of autopilots for rotor and fixed-wing aircraft. The Genesis STEC 5000 is the latest digital autopilot, providing increased safety plus decreased pilot workload, and is being certified for Part 23 and Part 25 retrofit aircraft, such as high-performance turboprop and turbine jet aircraft. To learn more about the STEC 5000, visit genesis-aerosystems.com. Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Jeff Hill, for this June 16th, 2022 edition of AEA Amplified, and I'm joined today by Patrick McManus, who is an employment coordinator for NextOp, and that's an AEA member and a nonprofit organization that is working to address employment challenges facing U.S. military members and veterans. So, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm excited about our conversation today because, in my opinion, for far too long, we've all heard about the workforce challenges facing all types of industries, and aviation is not the only industry hit hard by a tight labor force. It seems everywhere you turn, companies are looking to find qualified help, and they cannot easily find it. So, and for example, in a recent survey of AEA member companies, we had 76% say that they are hiring technicians right now, and then another 9% said they will need technicians later this year. So there's a lot of help wanted needs out there, but and one of my favorite sayings is there's doers and talkers. And it seems we've heard a lot from those who like to talk about the shortage of pilots, aircraft mechanics, and avionics technicians, but your organization is actually doing the work to do something about it. So while I want to get into the details about NextOp and how it helps with transitioning military personnel and matching them up with employers, could you just start by introducing yourself and share your background and professional career to this point?
Oh, thank you, Jeff. So I grew up in New Orleans and joined the service in 1991, and I traveled around the world. And I retired 20 years later, and I found myself working. I got a job back home as a project manager building diving equipment. Did that for 6 years. So it was shallow air and saturation diving systems, and lost the job and became unemployed. I was unemployed for about 4 months, and I was really struggling. And I met Ben Armstrong, which was at the time he was a regional expansion manager, and I started working with him to fix my resume, learn, get all the tools I need to help me find a better job. And I started volunteering with NextOp just to get something to do. A position opened up and I applied for it and I was hired. And so 3.5 years later, I'm still doing it. I love it. I get to tell guys congratulations all the time that they found a job, a position, a new career, or they transitioned out into a new career, exactly what they want to do. And so it's very fulfilling job, and I work for a great company.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome story. And okay, now let's get into some of the nuts and bolts of how this all works. So I know NextOp was founded back in 2014, and your services are free to both the service members and the companies alike. So if you could start maybe by just telling us the NextOp story, why the organization was created and what it does and how it works.
Sure. Our founders identified there was an employment gap between the ranks of E3 and E7 and finding employment and services provided to them. About 80% of our military is middle enlisted. They're being left behind by an employment environment that makes it difficult for them to utilize their skills, talents, and experience in rewarding civilian careers. It's not a surprise that only 24% of service members leave the military with a job already lined up, and most of those are officers. Transitioning service members and veterans are a talent group that brings years of experience and leadership to the table that companies can really add to their workforce and make it a better thing. And we do this through one-on-one mentorship. I work with about 30 candidates, and it's always one-on-one. We individualize our every step to the candidate, where they've been, where they want to go, what they want to do in the future, and try to find that perfect career for them.
Okay, so Patrick, if you could walk us through the process a little bit, as a current member of the military or a veteran who might be looking for an opportunity to work in the avionics field, how can NextOp specifically help? Who is qualified, and what steps do they need to take?
Well, like I said, not every service, it's all tailored to the member, to the veteran. Not every veteran has the same story and has the same requirements. After a service member or veteran has filled their commitment and fill out the NextOp application, they will be contacted by employment coordinator like myself. We will work with them and identify civilian professions that are right for them. We will translate their resume, prepare them for interviews, and connect them to potential job opportunities, and ultimately start them a new career.
Okay, and so now if you look through the lens maybe of the AEA member companies that are looking for the talent, walk me through how NextOp can help those businesses identify and recruit those highly qualified technicians.
Yeah, so the first step is contacting me or sign up. They can go online and sign up through NextOp, and it starts with a conversation. It starts with a conversation what their needs are, what the requirement is for the job. They usually send us a job description, a location, compensation that we put into our system so all the employment coordinators can see. And that way we have a bigger view. And so we're looking at all our candidates in the system to see if we have a match for that job. We also can, for the employers, we can assist them with getting base access to job fairs. We bring them in on events. We do hiring events and virtual and in person at interview sessions. We found great success in one-on-one, in-person interview sessions where employers can hire people right there. We provide a lot to the employers and to the veterans.
And once again, we are visiting with Patrick McManus, the employment coordinator for NextOp here on AEA Amplified, sponsored by Genesis Aerosystems, a Moog company. And Patrick, you mentioned a few numbers a minute ago, and there are some incredible statistics out there. For example, there's more than 200,000 men and women who depart the U.S. military each year, and the military's middle enlisted, as you mentioned, make up 82% of military personnel. And according to NextOp, it's on your website, this information is more than 2,600 veterans have been successfully placed in careers since 2015. And that's with an average starting salary of nearly $60,000. So can you elaborate a little bit on those points, and are you satisfied with that success rate?
Personally and as an organization, we are always looking to push ourselves and improve and grow and how we help veterans. So of course we want to place more veterans with more companies. It's what we're built for. But so far since 2015, we've placed 2,930 candidates, and the average pay is about $55,000 a year. And we usually get them hired within 37 days of them signing up with us. We are currently are one of the first and only nonprofits that veteran organizations that devote specifically to supporting our country's middle enlisted veterans. So, like I said, the ranks were E3D7. So those are the guys that the aviation industry wants. They're the wrench turners, they're the technicians, they're the ones that are going to be doing the work and getting the job done.
And Patrick, I know that NextOp recently partnered with the U.S. Department of Defense to assist with the SkillBridge program. So what is SkillBridge and how does that work?
Well, it's a great program. It's something that it wasn't around when I was getting out, and I wish it was. So what SkillBridge is a program that helps talented middle enlisted veterans into internships through a broad spectrum of jobs since it's aviation. So basically, a person transitioning out to service while he's still on active duty can come work at average day is 120 days, but it can be a little longer. Come work for an AE member as a intern learn the job. Hopefully at the end of that, they're hired on. There's no obligation. So you can bring an intern in, they can work for you. It is, you try them on, they try you on. There is no cost to the company. So it is, everything's covered by the DoD. That includes insurance, workers' comp, pay, all things. They're still active duty. So the goal is to get them into a new career, intern them, and then get them hired on somewhere.
And Patrick, I also know that NextOp services are free, and that's to both the service members and the companies. So, specifically, how is your organization funded?
So we have several sources. So it includes government grants. We have corporate donors, private foundations, public charities, and individual donations. The generosity of all of these helps NextOp operate, and that's why we're at no cost to the companies or to the members.
And Patrick, I'm curious, what are some of the biggest obstacles maybe that you find in your work? In other words, do we truly have a labor shortage, or maybe do we have a salary problem in the avionics industry? What advice do you have for avionics companies looking to hire, whether that's shops looking for technicians or the OEMs looking for talent?
It's the same problem. So there's a labor shortage to find qualified people, and there's a salary problem. So what I found personally is that veterans coming out, the companies that can pay the most are the bigger companies, right? So the bigger companies will pick up the aviation guys pretty quickly, and the smaller companies have a hard time paying the same rates. It is a competition. But one thing that the AE members have that the bigger companies don't, that a member can get out if they want to go back. If Airman Snuffy wants to go back home to Indiana, there's going to be a repair shop there most likely, right? They can offer, it's be more of a family. Usually, it's more of a family, smaller company. Which might be a good fit for somebody who's come out of the service, who's been used to big Air Force or big Navy or big Army or Marine Corps, where they want to work for a smaller company. It could be, compensation packages, benefits, time off are always something that you add on to a package for salary to try to lure those people in. But there is a workforce problem, and I think it's because we're a little bit laser focused on aviation. So if you take into effect like a Navy electronics technician, right? They if they don't work on aircraft, they're still running wire harnesses. They're still troubleshooting. They might be ringing out wires. They have all these. They might be doing installs. If it's the Army on tanks, they're installing Blue Force Tracker, which is the giant, so everyone can see everyone who's in the battlefield. Communications, radars. They might not be able to do. They might have an aviation rate or Air Force Specialty Code, or MOS, but they have the talent there. And I think that if the companies start looking towards the qualifications of that person and not what job they had, and you could do a couple things. You can look at their JST, their Joint Service Transcript, and see what they've actually been trained in. So you have to open your mind. I think they open their mind up about what jobs that the military members have done and how they can pertain to the job they need, that the person they need. I think it will help the workforce problem. So, and on 21 July, 11:30 to 12:30, we're going to have a seminar. Next time we have a seminar on just talking about how to hire veterans and what companies can do to recruit them in and keep them in. And that'll be put out through our webpage, and also AEA will push it out as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll look forward to that very much. And Patrick, so how can transitioning military and veterans contact you to get the help, as well as the AA member companies looking to hire?
Well, they can. It's www.nextopvets.org is our website, and if you're an employer searching, you can connect with us there. You can email me at patrick@nextopvets.org. We're on all the social medias, so we have. If you can find us anywhere, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, we're everywhere.
Well, Patrick, thanks for all the great work that you're doing to address those workforce challenges. Again, you and your organization are not just talking about the workforce challenges. You're actually doing something about it to address it. And kudos to you and your team for being the doers. And is there anything else that you'd like to cover before we let you go?
I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. This is a great platform. We really do appreciate our partnership with AEA, and we look forward to a continued collaboration. It's a great opportunity. I think we can put a lot of veterans to work.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us here on AEA Amplified. Great stuff happening at NextOp, and you can learn more at nextopvets.org. Again, that's nextopvets.org. And hey, folks, let me remind our listeners of a few important items. And first of all, summer is here in North America, and the AEA's classroom is heating up. So be sure to join us for one of the upcoming avionics training courses at the association's headquarters in Lee Summit, Missouri. And as of today, there are 8 different classes available. You can learn more about each of them and reserve your seat by visiting aea.net/training. Also, we hope you can join us for one of the upcoming AEA Connect conferences later this year. These 2-day events allow technicians and business owners the opportunity to learn industry best practices, connect with your regional sales and product support representatives, satisfy training requirements, see the latest products and services, and receive important updates on the most current regulatory news affecting your business. There are 3 conferences scheduled in the United States, and that includes visits to Kansas City, Missouri, Reno, Nevada, and Tampa, Florida. Connect conferences are also on tap in Toronto, Canada, Munich, Germany, and Sunshine Coast, Australia. So check out all the details for those events at aea.net/connect. And finally, something very pertinent to today's podcast, if your company is hiring, don't forget to post your career opportunities on the AEA jobs board, and that's at aea.net/jobs. Free resume posting is available for all of you seeking jobs, and there's lots of new employment opportunities listed on that jobs board in just the last week, so you can learn all about it at aea.net/jobs. That's going to wrap it up for today. We hope you can join us again soon for another episode of AEA Amplified, sponsored by Genesis Aerosystems, a Moog company. To learn more about Genesis and its full range of products, visit genesis-aerosystems.com. Thanks again to Patrick McManus of NextOp for being our guest today. And until next time here on AEA Amplified, this is your host, Jeff Hill, wishing you blue skies ahead, and so long, everybody.